Hello everyone, I'm Admiral Ellis of the TTO, and welcome back to another episode of the Admiral's Musings. This week, for half the week at least, I had the house to myself, which means I was doing a lot of work here that I normally would never be able to get done. I had the bat out of hell, landed in the backyard, and the only person that could see it was my elderly neighbor, and I'm pretty sure she's old enough that she thought she was hallucinating anyways. So, essentially nobody caught it. Nobody saw that, which was fantastic. And I mean, the doctor helped me put a perception filter on it. Not directly, he didn't show up at my house or anything, but he taught me how to use perception filters. And so, people didn't tend to pay attention to it, even when I was running the reactors in the middle of the night and making a ton of noise. And people just managed to tune it out. I don't know what they thought it was, like a car alarm or something. I must have woken up half the neighborhood, but nobody came to me about it, so whatever. But the rest of the week, I spent a lot of time here, but I also spent a lot of time, especially towards the beginning of the week, at the groundbreaking ceremony for the new base. And, I mean, it wasn't much of a groundbreaking ceremony considering it's a secret base, but we had a bunch of TTO people there and, like, a golden shovel to dig the first piece of earth, and then we brought in the cement trucks and excavators. And, we actually drilled the main shaft using a plasma bore, which was bright. Like, we put on welder's masks to use this thing, and the people in the back row use sunglasses, but if I were to take the thing off, there would have been severe retinal damage. Because this thing was, wow. Like, you think of, the hole to the center of the earth in, Doctor Who episode, I don't remember what it's called, but it was the one with the Arachnos, the giant spider lady, and the hole to the center of the earth where her children were, because that's how it, whatever. Point is, it was, the bore is perfectly smooth, and it goes down, like really far down, and it basically melts, and I guess you could say cauterizes the interior, so we won't get any flooding in at least the main shaft until we make a perforation, which is excellent. But we had to build the hangars, and that's the first thing. It's going to be a large job clearing out the area. We're going to build, because I don't have room to make a runway for the Steambird, and I don't have the time really either. We're going to build a vertical launching system, so it's going to be, you park it, and then it lifts it up, and then it, you know what I'm saying? We're still going to have hangar doors, but they're going to be a lot smaller. I'm going to go with Atlantean, the hexagonal thing that you see on city ships. We've got plans for a lot of the bunk rooms. The storage, of course, is very important. The reactors, all the laboratories. We're building a wind tunnel, so a big wind tunnel. Go big or go home, with wind tunnels. If I can't park a starship inside it, it's not worth it. Just kidding. It's gonna be probably about garage size, a lot longer than a garage, obviously, but it's gonna be about garage size. So I'm gonna be able to test whole wings in it, which is gonna be handy. Because last time I did a lot of computer simulation for the wings of the Steambird, and it ended up with the wings not all performing how I needed them to, because it's just a computer simulation, and they couldn't simulate the imperfections that would inevitably be in the wings. So I ended up with probably about 100 different variants of wings. Now, they aren't all because I screwed up a little bit in the design process. There were a lot of different things, like there are ones designed for speed, ones designed for lift, ones designed for acrobatics or maneuverability. There are ones with, highly experimental warp stuff built into them, which was, no good because I couldn't make the power to run it. So it wasn't useful, but it was cool looking. So I built a bunch of wings like that. Those were, in hindsight, those were expensive as hell. And only now have I got around to selling the excess wings. Now that, well, not selling the excess wings, because I can't just put them up on eBay or something. I have to melt down the metals. I have to separate the metals. I pull the warp technology out of it, disassemble it, take the dilithium, um, and I have to sort everything up and sell the quantities individually, some on the open market, and some to government agencies or to NORAD, or just bring them back to the TTO and sell them back to the people I bought them from. Uh, you know, it's a whole thing when you get all these resources, put something together, and realize, it doesn't work. So, oh well. I keep hitting this thing on my desk. It makes a noise. Not on purpose. I say that like I'm hitting it because it makes a noise. I'm saying I'm apologizing because it's making a noise and I'm hitting it. I didn't leave Earth all this week. I didn't even go to orbit. The thing that's a shame about that is now I don't have Nick, Darren, Alec, Gregory here. I don't have them in a base on Earth. They have jumpers, they can come down and visit, and they did. But I never saw them on basically our home turf all this week, which is kind of a shame. But, I leave the city to them, and they don't break anything. Sarah can maintain control of it pretty easily. Especially with the modifications since the Minute Bargain for the Universe story. But she reprogrammed, I should say repurposed, because you can't really reprogram a Cyberman. You just take the brain out, basically, and replace it with something else. Cyberman was dead in this case, fried, so it's not like we killed someone to do it. That's beside the point. She made one, now she wants to make more. She's got this plan to build an army of maintenance bots. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not too far-fetched considering what we've done before. The old base had a lot of maintenance bots on the lower levels mostly, but they were all rail built, and we had monorails on the ceiling, and they'd go on the ceiling. And they were mostly just robotic arms, so we didn't have her building a crap ton of sentient or even semi-sentient, semi-smart artificial intelligence complex and robot bodies to use for maintenance. So it's not something that I don't think she can do. It's something that, like, I'm worried she's going to do. And then we're going to have to deal with this. Like, we're going to have to deal with the fallout from making a robot, not to say a robot army, but a bunch of robots. A bunch of robots that think. I mean, she doesn't want to do dumb AI because she wants to... Basically, she wants to have a friend. Well, she wants to make an army of friends. Of artificial intelligences that are on her level. So she can converse with them on her level. I mean, it's kind of a new thing for her, I guess. She's just like, hey, I want to branch out and be with other AI complexes. And when all we had was the Admiral, she was fine with that because we had all the computational arrays for all of the other artificial intelligence complexes. We had all the AI storage on the Admiral, and it got transferred to Mabel's right after the battle for Mabel's in the Second Unseen Time War. But yeah, so I mean, she got over it pretty quick when we transferred all the AIs over because she got to see her good friends from time to time. All good friends like I'd go as far as to say her best friend, not her best friend, but her best AI friend is probably Cortana. They get along really well. But, like, nah, I'm not gonna go there. But they get along really well. So, now they don't get to see each other very often. It's kind of awkward. She's like, I want to see Cortana. It's the opposite with GLaDOS. She hates GLaDOS with a burning passion, but that's beside the point. She wants to build, I mean, I was asking her how she's going to do this, and she's like, we have a replicator pad on Atlantis. And then I went, no, we're not building replicators. If there's anything we've learned, is replicators are bad news. No offense to Elizabeth Ware, who I have the utmost respect for. I mean, she has a group of... Shut up. Stupid bleep bloop thing. It's gonna come up again. I'm telling you this. I can't do anything about it now. I have the utmost respect for Elizabeth Weir because of who she is as a person and her group of replicators because they're just so different. But there always comes a point where you make all these replicators and then they want to start replicating. And then it leads to just insanity. It's much easier having something like a Cyberman body where you can make parts for it, but they're not the kind of thing that will make more of themselves just on their own. It gets very out of hand very, very quickly. And of course, if we're dealing with Cybermen, then they're only semi-smarts as well. But I know she wants at least one high-powered AI in there, so we may want to pick up. If I can, probably the only way I'm going to get her from not doing this, or the only way I'm going to keep her from doing this, is if I just basically get her a friend. If I get another AI to work with her. The only problem with that is I'm not sure if Devereaux, as it stands, can support 2 full AI complexes. We did have to heavily refit it to support Sarah. I mean, if you ever saw... There's an episode of Stargate Atlantis where basically the mind of Weir, the artificial intelligence Elizabeth Weir, goes into the computer system of Atlantis and starts screwing everything up because Atlantis isn't designed for that right off the bat. They did, after we took them in, we wanted to get Elizabeth Ware back because she is who she is, and she's brilliant, frankly. And she was fantastic commander. Woolsey wanted to be a kind of political dude because that's what he does best, and of course I wasn't gonna have O'Neill do it because he does SG-1 on his own, and Sarah Carter, you know, she wanted to go back to, Samantha Carter. She wanted to go back to SG-1 as well, or go back to a ship, and I said, it'd be great to have SG-1 back together. So that took away, right off the bat, we lost 2 of our best commanders of Atlantis, so we had to go get Elizabeth back. And for us to do that, I mean, not to say I knew what to do right off the bat, but I understood that we could upload her back to the city and she'd be fine, because we just left her, I wasn't there, they left her floating in orbit of a planet with a bunch of her replicator buddies. We all brought them back. The replicator people are still replicator people. Elizabeth isn't. Because she didn't look like her. She looked like Fran, the friendly replicator android that Rodney built. So she uploaded herself to the computer system. We built her a hologram body, and everything was fine. So what I'm saying is we had to build a lot onto the computer system of Atlantis in order to get it to support that kind of thing. I don't know why. The Atlanteans, I mean, I guess after, I mean, it could have been, I don't know why, frankly. I just don't understand it. I feel like a city like that would be designed with the computing power in mind to have a full-blown artificial intelligence complex on board from, right off the bat. Because well, no, actually, that's true. The person in the library, I guess you could call it, the conference room, the hologram room, actually, because there are a lot of rooms in that city that look pretty damn similar. That wasn't a hologram on Atlantis. That was an ascended being. So another guess of mine is that they maybe designed or de-designed the computer system after they basically disowned the replicators because they didn't want to deal with artificial intelligences anymore. I mean, I know at this point they weren't in contact with the well, no, that was 100,000 years and then 10,000 10 million. Sorry. Hold on. I was losing track of my dates here. Because 10,000-year-old, the line I keep coming back to is we're saying 10,000-year-old dead plants, and so Atlantis sat on the city floor for 10,000 years, which was 90,000 years after the Halo rings fired. Not sure how long between the replicators being attempted to be wiped out and the Halo rings firing. Not sure if it was before, not sure if it was after. But they probably heard about the failure of Musingen bias and how they had to pursue him with offensive bias. But that's beside the point. The point is, I hope you guys enjoyed and keep on staring at the stars, because if someone fails to put a perception filter on something, you're probably going to notice it. See you guys next week.